Despite having one of the top receiving duo in the league with Tyreek Hill and Waddled, the Dolphins have made a trade to acquire a Super Bowl champion defensive back Jalen Ramsey in exchange for a 2023 third-round pick and a tight end Hunter Long who had only one catch for 8 yards. Yeah, it was an absolute steal for Florida. The great thing for Ramsey is he is headed back where he played college ball, Florida State, and was drafted by the Jags in 2016. The team is building a Super Bowl team, and things are starting to make sense. Last offseason, they traded for Tyreek Hill, who is also a Super Bowl champion, and gave him a 4-year deal worth $120 million, and had a career high with over 1,700 yards on the season with only 7 touchdowns. On the other side, Jaden Waddled in his second season had 1,356 yards and only 8 touchdowns. I like these two a lot. They're just so fun to watch, especially with Tua behind center. Tua is still on his rookie deal and has 2 more years left. The whole situation with Tua and his head injuries has really become a talk as well. We can sit down and talk about it, but it will really depend on how he responds in the next 2 seasons. But he did have his best season in 2022. Despite missing 4 weeks to brutal head injuries that he suffered technically 3 times last season, he still finished with a 64.8 completion rate of 3,548 yards to 25 touchdowns and only 8 interceptions. There's just a great connection with those 3, and it's fun to watch on Sundays. I'm not saying the team is completed, but they definitely have proven that they can be a top offense in the league, and now maybe a top defense, especially with Jalen Ramsey joining, who was one of my favorite players growing up watching. He's definitely a great defensive back, no doubt. The other guy that I really like on this defense is Xavier Howard. He didn't really play too good last season, but he was pretty much injured. He had a groin injury as well as a knee injury, so it's not like let's just forget the guy. They drafted the guy in 2016, the same draft as Jalen Ramsey. I don't know why, but I always looked away from this team. They just never gave me an excitement, but things are changing. We have to give credit to Mike McDaniels. Something about those coaches coming out of San Francisco, it's different, and that's where Mike McDaniels came from. McDaniels has a very interesting coaching career in the league. He started with Denver as an intern coach in 2005. After 1 season, he would become the offense assistant coach in Houston, spent 3 seasons there, then went to Washington for the same coaching position, but was moved to a wide receiver coach for his last season in DC. The 3 seasons he spent there with Washington was also the time he was there with Kyle Shanahan and Mike McVay. McDaniels and Shanahan were on the coaching staff in Houston at the same time as well. You get my point where he got his offensive mind. It doesn't take that many brain cells to figure it out. Another crazy part, this guy has been to the Super Bowl twice and has lost both times. First time was with the Atlanta Falcons. You guys remember that game. Then right after is when he was hired by the 49ers as the run game specialist coach. He spent 2 seasons in that position, then was moved to a running game coordinator for the Niners before becoming the head coach for the Dolphins. In his last season with the Niners, he was the offensive coordinator. Okay, I'm not going to lie. The AFC East will probably be a very tough division, especially with Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets. Obviously, you have the Bills. It's definitely going to be an interesting one. I had the Bills winning the division last season. I also had a feeling the Jets were going to make moves in the offseason, and they're making big moves. But the Dolphins are responding as well, so I can't go wrong by saying this, that the division will be fun to watch, and to see who's going to end up at the top. And what if somehow the Dolphins go undefeated, just like they did back in 1972? That will be a story. Bitch, we some stars, pull up in foreign cars.